But I'm afraid that Western women have lost their way in their quest to have it all. They've been sold a lie and told that they don't need a man or his companionship.
Hey, what's up? This is Raulh of Please Act Right. Whoa, today's video, man, men from the United States or westernized men are flocking to the Philippines looking for wives because they are sick and tired of American women. I just happened to be on the internet just looking for some videos to use to make on my videos, and I ran across this video of my man MTR, shouts out to him, and he was talking about this young lady who's Filipino P. So I decided to check out her channel, and girlfriend is telling the truth about they know what's going on in the United States as far as westernized women is concerned. Now, I'm not going to take her word for anything. Let me give you a quick little background on me and the Philippines. Back in 1987 through 89, I was stationed in Misawa Air Force Base in Misawa, Japan. While we were there, I was an aircraft mechanic and I worked on F-16 fighter jets. About every 6 months, we actually traveled to the Philippines on what is called a TDY, that's temporary duty, which means we would go there with a whole bunch of other bases and our aircrafts would dogfight with their aircrafts. Well, in our off time, of course, we were in downtown Angeles City in the Philippines. While we were there, man, it was just one beautiful woman right after the other, all up and down the streets, all in the clubs, everywhere. Now back then, yes, I had a Filipino girlfriend. Now I'm not going to say her name because of protection for her, because I don't know if she's married or not, but I will show the picture. This is me and her back in 1988, I believe, and I went down to the Philippines approximately 4 times, and she was my girlfriend each time. I used to think back then that the Filipino women were just trying to get married to an American just so they could get, the American standard of living, and because they saw us as rich individuals. But as I was down there, I began to realize that just like it is now, there were more women than there were men. So a lot of the women were seeking out GIs to hopefully get married to. Now, of course, there was a sprinkle here and a sprinkle there of them just trying to marry one of us just so she could get out of the Philippines. But one thing that I did notice with my girl that I was with, she took care of me as much as I took care of her, and we both did our traditional roles. I took care of her financially, and she took care of me to make sure that I was fed, make sure my uniforms were clean and ironed, and all that good stuff. Come to find out now, all these years later, 30-something years later, that these younger women in the Philippines are still holding that same traditional thing when it comes down to getting married and having a family. These women are desperate to get married, but not for the same reasons that you think. Their desperation in getting married is because they understand at a younger age, they need to get that man in their life because they know the clock is ticking. They don't care anything about higher education and getting all this money. They want their family. And they have no problem cooking and cleaning, taking on the traditional role of a wife, while her husband takes on the traditional role as a husband and pays all the bills. They don't see cooking and cleaning as a woman being a slave to a man. Now let's turn it over to Filipino P for a minute, and I want her to explain to you that they see from all the way over there in the Philippines what's happening here in America, and they are taking advantage of it.
So now let's look at the life cycle of the typical, modern, Western relationship and see how that works out for you guys. A woman in her late teens to early 20s is in the flower of her youth and typically the most attractive and fertile. If she's smart, she'll spend those years not just having fun, but securing a quality partner to journey through life with. But I'm afraid that Western women have lost their way in their quest to have it all. They've been sold a lie and told that they don't need a man or his companionship, and that they should empower themselves so they can lead a life of wish fulfillment, put the kids on hold, and partay, which is really easy to do when you're holding all the cards, and men are climbing over each other's backs to get to you. And what does that attitude do to the perceived value of a man? It diminishes it, because you've been convinced that men are of little value and so easy to get. In the West, government support programs and employment opportunities have replaced you and one of the main things you offered women, so they don't need you for that anymore. Your overall value to them has decreased. But now for the good news. Take the same life cycle of a relationship and map it onto the reality here in this country. From the beginning, Filipinos instinctively know that our youth is fleeting. We have no misconceptions about that. And we're all about finding a good man while we can, amidst heavy competition. All Filipinas know that every day, a new crop of thousands of eager young women have their 18th birthday and join the hunt for a man to spend their lives with. And there just aren't enough good men to go around in my country. Add to this situation, the fact that Filipinos aren't as sensitive to the issue of age. We really can find older men attractive, and we don't just pair with them out of desperation. Well, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. So how's your system working out for you in the West? At the rate you're going, in a few more decades, the women will be older than the men when you marry, if marriage is even still a thing.
Thank you, P. Now, let's move on, because I want to show you something else that I found. So after Filipino P's video went off, up pops this one called Philippine Women. Come to find out, they help you book a trip so that you can go to the Philippines where they have everything set up so that they have literally hundreds of Filipino women who are actually looking for husbands. And these women are serious about finding husbands. The one thing that these Western men, even though you may look at them as old dirty men, are looking for is they're looking for companionship of a woman who is cooperative, but also a woman who has the value of a traditional wife, which most of us are finding very difficult to find here in the United States. So for all the women out there in the United States who are saying, I ain't cooking and I ain't cleaning, but you expect a man to be traditional and pay all the bills, understand the competition is a flight away. Don't believe me? Take a look at this website. This is the website from that YouTube channel. They have a website where you can book a trip to stay for 7 days or you can stay for 14 days. And they have parties and pool parties and everything set up so you can meet and greet with Filipino women. These women are showing up in their Sunday's best and they're making sure that they're doing whatever they can do to impress one of these guys so that they can get a husband and get their lives in order before they turn 30. So for all you westernized women out there who are chasing the bag and chasing higher education and saying, I don't need a man, men are starting to say, okay, fine, you don't need us, we're going to go where we're needed. And most traditional men like myself, we have no problem paying all the bills if the woman is going to take care of us and our families by cooking and cleaning.
I joined the foreign affairs because I want to find my forever and my soulmate.
Hey, men are starting to go in another direction, a direction that's only a flight away. And mind you, these men are not minding having to fly for a whole day to get there and a whole day to come back. As I said it before, men can do without American women when there's options. So all the fellas out there, if you're interested in Filipino P and following her channel, the link is in the description box below. And for the Philippine Women website, the links are in the description box below. Hey, somebody had to tell you, and I love you, so it might as well be me. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell. And if you excuse me, I got a flight to catch. See you. So if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these two videos right here. I'm sure you'll enjoy. And if you want, you can go to my channel and check out videos I have there. I got plenty of them. Go ahead. Don't be scared.